all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning, I'm Alex Matthew. If I'm speaking to you for the first time, thanks so much for listening in. If you're a regular listener, welcome back. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint. Today is the 15th of November. The big news from last evening comes from the banking space, from Yes Bank, where a change in the top leadership position is drawing near. Ashok Chawla, the non-executive independent part-time chairman of Yes Bank, has resigned with immediate effect. In a statement sent to the exchanges, Yes Bank said that Chawla was stepping down as it would need a chairman who can devote more time to the lender during the imminent management transition. Rana Kapoor, who is Chief Executive Officer of the bank, is set to step down at the end of January after the RBI declined his bid for a third term. And here's something that Bloomberg Quint has picked up about Kotak Mahindra Bank. ING Group plans to sell its remaining stake in the bank through block deals. The stake, which stood at about 3.7% in September, is worth about $1 billion. The other big update is in the telecom space. India's largest telecom operator, Vodafone Idea, plans to raise about 25,000 crore rupees, most of which will come from its promoters, the Vodafone Group and Aditya Birla Group. The company said it was planning to issue fresh shares, which could be in the form of a rights issue, a qualified institutional placement, a preferential issue, or a combination of these options. The company didn't specify the reason for its fundraising plans, but analysts speculate that it could be a bid to reduce debt. Here's another update in the banking space. IDBI Bank, which is under the RBI's prompt corrective action and which reported its 8th quarterly loss yesterday, has seen its capital levels fall below the regulatory requirement. Its capital adequacy ratio, which is supposed to stand at 9%, has now fallen to 6.2%, and common equity, which should be at least 5.5%, now stands at 3.9%. Now, here are some other stories for you. 5 years after the Companies Act 2013 provided for the creation of a National Financial Reporting Authority, essentially an audit super regulator, the government has taken a step towards its creation. For all that this entails and for the rules that will govern its jurisdiction, do look up the story on the website. India's fast-moving consumer goods sector grew at the fastest pace in 5 quarters, helped by a rise in consumption, improving rural demand and low inflation, according to Nielsen India. In international news, more than 2 years after the UK voted to leave the European Union, there's finally a Brexit deal on the table. But the tough part starts now. Prime Minister Theresa May convenes her cabinet today knowing that she must convince them of the deal's merits or risk resignations. US stocks fell for a 5th straight day as investors remained on edge over trade, political turmoil and economic growth. Crude has rebounded a little from the lows that it has seen this week. Brent crude futures are currently trading just above the $66 a barrel mark. The S&P 500 and Dow lost 0.8% each, while the Nasdaq declined by 0.9%. In Asia, it's a bit of a mixed start this morning. The Nikkei was trading lower by about 0.2%, while the Kospi was higher by about 0.4% last I checked. It's now over to Agam Vakil for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Agam. How's it looking?
Good morning, Alex, and good morning, viewers. Well, we have seen the benchmark indices close largely flat with marginal losses yesterday. But what is it that we're going to keep an eye on in today's day of trade, and what are those factors that should influence markets? Right at the top, we have Grasim and Hindalco in focus, where we understand Vodafone Idea is looking to raise 7,250 crores from the Aditya Birla Group. Grasim and Hindalco own 11.5% and 2.6% stake in Vodafone Idea respectively. But moving on to Grasim's earnings, it's largely inline earnings with revenues rising 23%, EBITDA up only 1%, and margins have also come off quite substantially to 15.2% against 18.6%. United Breweries is the other big earnings where we did see revenues rise 21% year on year and net profits rising 75%. So it's certainly looking like a good quarter for United Breweries. Coming down to Thermax, revenues rose 38% with profits also rising 30%. So another good set of numbers coming in for Thermax. In other news, we also have Bayer Crop Science, where the company's board has approved amalgamation with Monsanto. And finally, among the relatively smaller names, we also have Dhanuka Agritech that's approved a buyback of 13.1% equity at 550 rupees per share, aggregating to around 82.5 crore shares. These are all the stocks that you can keep an eye on in today's day of trade. But for more, don't forget to read and go through our daily morning edition of All You Need to Know on BloombergQuint.com.
Thanks, Agam, and thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a fantastic day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.